Corporal Jake Martinez was checking his rifle when he heard the sound that would change everything. Not the whistle of incoming artillery, that came later. First was the distant boom. Then another. Then a rapid succession that made his stomach drop. Incoming, someone screamed. The first shell hit 200 meters away. The explosion threw dirt and shrapnel into the air. The second landed. Closer. The third hit their equipment area directly, vehicles erupting in flame, gear shredding to pieces. Martinez dove into a fighting position he'd just dug for training. Training. This was supposed to be training. Korean DMZ, June 17, 2025. 2:34 p.m. 200 U.S. Marines conducting joint exercises with South Korean forces. Then North Korea opened fire without warning. Without provocation. Without any idea what they'd just unleashed. What happened over the next 41 minutes would eliminate 9 North Korean artillery bases, silence dozens of guns. And prove why attacking American forces, even during peacetime, is the worst miscalculation any nation can make. And I'm taking you inside every shell impact, every counterstrike, every moment of controlled fury. Subscribe now, because this story will leave you speechless. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood somewhere knowing that just a few miles away, thousands of weapons are aimed in your direction? The Korean demilitarized zone isn't demilitarized at all. It's 250 kilometers of the most heavily fortified border on Earth. North Korea has positioned thousands of artillery pieces along this line, many aimed directly at Seoul, just 50 kilometers away. 30 million people in range. The nightmare scenario that's haunted military planners for 70 years. Thousands of shells hitting the South Korean capital within minutes if war breaks out. For decades, those guns have sat mostly silent. Occasional provocations. Border incidents. But nothing like what happened on June 17th. Because on that bright afternoon, North Korea made a decision that would cost them dearly. At 11 a.m., 200 Marines from 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines arrived at a training ground near Payu, 3 kilometers south of the DMZ. Joint exercise with South Korean Army. Standard defensive training. Setting up positions. Practicing communication. Learning South Korean tactics. The kind of routine operation they'd done dozens of times. Colonel James Reeves briefed his troops, "Marines, this is sensitive territory. 3 clicks from North Korea. Stay professional. Stay alert. But this is a training day. No live ammunition. No provocations." The Marines spread out across the training ground. Digging positions. Setting up communications. Working alongside their South Korean counterparts. Professional. Focused. Unaware. Meanwhile, 3 kilometers north, something was moving. At 2:15 p.m., U.S. counter-battery radar detected unusual activity on the North Korean side. Artillery pieces repositioning. Barrels elevating. Movement that suggested more than routine drills. Warning sent to U.S. 8th Army Headquarters, unusual North Korean artillery activity. Multiple pieces repositioning near DMZ. Not unprecedented. North Korea conducts artillery drills frequently. Usually they fire into their own territory or into the sea. Saber rattling. Posturing. Business as usual. Except this time was different. At 2:31 p.m., South Korean observation posts noticed the barrels were elevated south. Toward the training ground. Toward the Marines. Report sent to command. North Korean artillery in firing position. Possible drill. The Marines continued training. Unaware that across the DMZ, crews were loading shells. Unaware that fire Commands were being given, unaware that they had less than 3 minutes. At 2:34 p.m., North Korean artillery fired. Boom. 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 Shells arcing over the DMZ, heading directly toward U.S. Marines. Not warning shots. Not demonstration fire. Direct attack on American forces during peacetime training. Corporal Martinez saw the first impact. Massive explosion. Dirt geysering into the air. Shockwave hitting him like a physical force. Incoming. Take cover. Marines dove into defensive positions they just dug for training, now using them to survive. Shells landing all around them. Equipment exploding. Vehicles burning. Martinez pressed himself into the earth, each explosion feeling like the world was ending. Shrapnel whining overhead. Dirt raining down. Adrenaline screaming through his veins. Then silence. 90 seconds of hell. 47 shells. Then nothing. Martinez looked up. Smoke everywhere. Fires burning. His training sergeant was wounded, shrapnel in his leg. Medic already working on him. Another Marine bleeding from arm wounds. Body armor had saved lives, but 6 Marines were hit. 4 South Korean soldiers wounded. Colonel Reeves was already on radio. This is Dark Horse 6. We are taking artillery fire from North Korea. Multiple impacts. Casualties reported. Request immediate medevac and authorization for counterfire. The response came in. 20 seconds, Dark Horse 6, medevac inbound. Counter-battery authorization approved. Engaging now. Because while those shells were still in the air, American technology had been watching. This is where everything changes. This is where North Korea learned why you never, never, fire on Marines. Stay with me. Counter-battery radar is remarkable technology. It tracks incoming shells. Mid-flight, calculates their trajectory backward, identifies exactly where they came from. GPS coordinates. Precise locations. Perfect targeting data. The moment those North Korean guns fired, American systems marked every single position. 18 artillery pieces. Exact locations. Already being transmitted to strike assets. At 2:37 p.m., just 3 minutes after the attack, 8 AH-64. Apache helicopters on standby received targeting data and launch authorization. All Apache flights, weapons free. Target North Korean artillery positions. Hellfire missiles authorized. Eliminate those guns. At 2:38 p.m., South Korean K-9 Thunder self-propelled howitzers locked coordinates. K-9 batteries, engage designated targets. Counter-battery fire authorized. At 2:39 p.m. US M142 HIMARS rocket artillery systems deployed near the DMZ received fire orders. HIMARS units, you are cleared hot. Fire for effect. But this wasn't just retaliation against the guns that fired. This was something North Korea never anticipated. US and South Korean intelligence had been mapping North Korean artillery positions along this DMZ sector for years. Every bunker. Every tunnel. Every ammunition depot. Every command post. Major artillery bases. Dozens of individual guns. Ammunition storage facilities. Command bunkers. All within range. All targeted. All marked for destruction. The authorization from U.S. Indo-Pacific Command was clear: eliminate North Korean artillery threat in this sector. Permanent suppression authorized. At 2:41 p.m., Hellfire missiles. Launched from Apache helicopters. Laser-guided precision strikes targeting the artillery pieces that had fired on Marines. The missiles struck with devastating accuracy. Direct hits on self-propelled howitzers. Massive explosions as ammunition inside detonated. Crews killed instantly. Vehicles burning. The 18 guns that fired were destroyed in under 60 seconds. But that was just the beginning. At 2:45 p.m., F-16 Fighting Falcons from Osan Air Base arrived overhead, each carrying laser-guided bombs. Their targets, not just the guns that fired, but every North Korean artillery installation in the sector. Viper flights, you have multiple targets designated. Artillery complexes Alpha through India. Cleared hot. Destroy all structures. 24 precision-guided bombs. Released. Falling through bright daylight. Perfect visibility. Perfect conditions. At 2:46 p.m., North Korean Artillery Base Alpha, headquarters for the sector, disappeared under coordinated strikes. Command bunker collapsed. Barracks destroyed. Ammunition depot exploded in a fireball visible for miles. At 2:47 p.m., Artillery Base Bravo hit. Maintenance facility destroyed. Storage bunkers collapsed. Artillery pieces obliterated. At 2:48 p.m., South Korean F-15K Strike Eagles joined the fight. Dozens more precision bombs targeting support facilities. At 2:49 p.m., a major North Korean ammunition complex was struck. The resulting explosion was catastrophic. Thousands of artillery shells detonating in chain reaction. Mushroom cloud rising. Seismic sensors registered it as a magnitude 2.1 earthquake. The entire facility ceased to exist. Just a crater. At 2:51 p.m., HIMARS systems fired precision rockets against artillery tunnels. North Korea keeps many guns in tunnels. Carved into mountains, roll them out to fire, roll them back for protection. The rockets struck tunnel entrances with perfect accuracy, collapsing them. Artillery pieces trapped inside. Buried. At 2:53 p.m., more Apache helicopters arrived. Working in pairs. Systematically destroying every identified position. Hellfire after hellfire. Each missile eliminating one gun, one bunker, one command post. Methodical. Precise. Devastating. At 2:55 p.m., a B-1B Lancer bomber orbiting at altitude received targeting data. Heavy bombs for hardened targets. Mountain fortresses that required serious firepower. Massive ordnance released. North Korean artillery bases positioned in fortified mountain complexes disappeared under precision bombing. Underground bunkers collapsed. Command facilities destroyed. Mountains reshaped by explosions. At 3:02 p.m., Apaches began secondary strikes. Targeting observation posts. Radar installations. Communications towers. Anything that could direct artillery fire. At 3:05 p.m., South Korean artillery fired final salvos, suppressing any possible return fire. At 3:08 p.m., 10 Thunderbolts, the famous Warthogs, arrived to destroy any North Korean vehicles attempting to escape or reinforce. The distinctive sound of their 30mm cannons echoed across the DMZ. At 3:15 p.m., 41 minutes after North Korea's attack began, Operation Steel Thunder was complete. This is modern warfare. Precision. Overwhelming. Final. Agree? Disagree? Let me know. Let me give you the numbers. The cold mathematics of what just happened. North Korea fired 47 Shells at U.S. Marines during peacetime training. In response, 9 major artillery bases destroyed. Dozens of artillery pieces eliminated. Multiple ammunition depots obliterated. Command bunkers collapsed. Observation posts destroyed. Radar installations eliminated. North Korean casualties, hundreds. Artillery crews. Commanders. Support staff. Allied losses during the counterstrike. 0 combat casualties. 0 aircraft lost. 0 artillery damaged. The 6 Marines wounded in the initial attack. All evacuated safely. All recovered. Back to duty within weeks. The artillery balance along this DMZ sector had fundamentally changed. Years of North Korean artillery capability eliminated in 41 minutes. Within hours, North Korean state media responded with predictable denial. Heroic Korean People's Army conducted routine artillery drill. Imperialist American forces illegally conducted provocative war games. No mention of destroyed bases. No mention of casualties. Complete denial of reality. But satellite imagery told the truth. Commercial satellites photographed the destruction. 9 artillery bases burning. Collapsed bunkers. Cratered ammunition. Depots. Destroyed positions. The Pentagon didn't even release classified photos. The damage was visible from space. South Korea's president made a crucial statement: for decades, North Korean artillery has threatened our capital. Today, our forces alongside our American allies demonstrated that these threats can be eliminated. Seoul is safer tonight than it was this morning. That statement mattered. For 70 years, North Korean artillery aimed at Seoul has been South Korea's nightmare. The assumption that millions could die in minutes. Operation Steel Thunder proved. Those positions can be found, targeted, and destroyed quickly and precisely. The message was clear: fire first, and you lose your capability permanently. Operation Steel Thunder proved something about modern military power that North Korea failed to understand. You can posture. You can threaten. You can rattle your sabers. Nations do this constantly as shows of force. But the moment you fire on American forces, the response is overwhelming, immediate, and final. The technology gap isn't just about having better weapons. It's about seeing everything, tracking everything, and striking with precision that leaves no room for error. North Korea fired 47 shells during peacetime. They lost 9 artillery bases and years of capability. The asymmetry is staggering. June 17, 2025. Korean DMZ. 2:34 p.m. North Korea attacks U.S. Marines during training. 3:15 p.m. 41 minutes later. 9 bases destroyed. Dozens of guns silenced forever. To Corporal Martinez and every Marine who was there, your professionalism under fire saved lives. We see you. To the pilots, artillery crews, and commanders who executed flawlessly, precision saves lives. Yours and theirs. To everyone watching, remember that peace is maintained by people willing to respond when attacked. That's not warmongering, that's deterrence. Until the next one, stay informed. Stay engaged, and remember that the best wars are the ones that never happen because the enemy knows the cost. See you soon.